Hi, I'm Alex, and this is week 2 of my research and development vlog. So I'm just gonna start off on the our Git Kraken. So here is where we were last time. I was attempting to fix a movement bug based on the enemies where they'd randomly be moving way too slow. I successfully fixed that the next day, along with fixing the pointer arrow, which was not working at all. It was pointing to the enemies even though they were right next to you. And then I fixed some enemy spawning where they'd be invisible and stuff. And yeah. This week, I added a new type of enemy called the shooter. Basic, basically, what it's supposed to do is that he shoots a goldfish at you, what does damage. But currently, the projectile is bugged, and if I can get a shooter enemy to spawn, oops, let me change it to a shooter. As you can see, it's it creates a goldfish clone, but it doesn't exist anywhere. That's a bug I'm gonna be fixing over the weekend. Another thing you see, I have two weapons here, so if it will, so on spawn the enemy will either spawn with a gun or a sword depending on their enemy type. It points at the player always, and as you can see, the enemy also flips now. I've created this game manager which doesn't do much right at the moment, but this is going to be essential for the rest of the game. This stores all our values what need to be saved. So I serialized test points can teleport in stages 1. These are things I want to save. And over here, it uses a singleton instance to be able to save my data into a file which it can recall later. These are my variables base values. And then here, this is where it saves it. This renames it because I was having an issue before where there'd be multiple game managers, and that was an issue. So I named this one main game manager, and then if there's any other game manager game object, it destroys them and keeps the main game manager. Here's a debug log to make sure I did that, and it sets that game manager to number 0 ID. So if there's anyone with a higher ID, it deletes it. And then it just destroy, and then it saves the instance and destroy, and make sure it doesn't get destroyed. So if I go to a different scene, if we go here, you can see my don't destroy unload main game manager. Now if I go to return to main menu, it saves. And then here it just loads the data. Here's my save data. Basically, it creates a new data list, and I save all my data values. And then it uses binary formatting to save it. This is the file location it saves it at. It serializes the data into the proper file, and then just stops. And then load data, it looks for the file if it exists. It deserializes our data, and then it just loads our data for us. And then here are the variables for just like saving my data. Well, like adding points at a test point thing to add points to see if it actually saved, a debug log to make sure I have points, and then it saves the data. Enemy stage, same thing. It adds 1 to my stages 1, and then it either teleports me or doesn't, depending what I want. This is for testing purposes. And then I just have these two variables here to delete my data for testing. And then here, my return get wins, this return stages 1. It's for my enemy scaling, because... Okay, we can go to the enemy spawner now. It gets the number of wins for enemies, and then it, for the number of enemies it can spawn, it goes from the mid-enemies, and then it adds 3 for every time you win, and then it adds 5 to the max every time you win, so more enemies spawn. And if we go to the enemy's health, enemy movement, we see that their health is now based on a difficulty multiplier, which you can set up here. Currently it's at 5%. So every time you win, the enemy gets 5% more health, 5% more damage. These values can be changed. But yeah. Let's see what else I added. Yeah, and then I added winning. So basically, if we go to this enemy spawner, we enable it, and we quickly kill a wave of enemies. This is a test bow, by the way. It one-shots enemies. But, so, don't worry, the game balance is more balanced than this. So, if you see, once we kill the enemies, it teleports you back to our main map. And then, if we go to the game manager, we see I got a stage 1, and now my enemies are slightly stronger. The reason why they're not doing more than 10 damage right now is because it rounds down, so I don't want any like unfair stat things. I might change it in the future. And I check. Yep, I added just more bug fixes and the saving stuff for this week. So next week, I hope to add more enemies, finishing up like upgrades and stuff. This upgrade system is the reason why I created this game manager. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the future of this game as much as I do. Bye.